Hi everyone! Thank you so much for coming to watch my lesson today. So my 3-day unit lesson is all about the aquatic food chain. So we are on day 2 of 3. So this lesson is going to be focusing in on predators of the ocean. Just to give you a quick overview of what we did yesterday, we talked about an introduction to the aquatic food chain. So students were introduced to new vocabulary such as predator and prey, but I'd like to go more in depth to those terms. So today is going to be focusing on predators, and tomorrow's lesson is going to be focusing on prey and their relationship to predators in the food chain. This is a 4th grade lesson, and as I mentioned before, this is lesson number 2. So, let's begin. Hi class, I hope everyone is doing wonderful today. I'd like to begin our lesson by talking about the essential questions that we're going to be exploring in today's lesson. Number 1, why are predators at the top of the food chain? Number 2, what are 2 characteristics of a predator? Number 3, why are sharks able to float in the water and not sink? So I want you guys to think about these questions while we're going through our lesson today. We will be coming back to these questions at the end of our lesson. So the first thing that I'd like to do today is have you fill out a KWL chart. So everyone should be familiar with these. We've been doing these throughout the year. If you have any questions about them, feel free to ask. So I'm going to hand everyone out a KWL chart. Okay, so now that everyone has a KWL chart in their possession, I'd like to review the key vocabulary from yesterday. The words that we learned were food chain, apex predator, predator, prey, trophic cascade, aquatic, and buoyancy. So I'd like you to fill out the what I know column, which is the left-hand column, the middle column, what I want to know. So you'll just be filling out those 2 columns. You can leave the last column alone for now. We're going to come back to that as our last activity for the day. So I'm putting these vocabulary words up here on the board just for a reference for you if you need your memory to be jogged from what you learned about yesterday. Okay, so now that everyone's done with the KWL chart and you've had time to do that, I want to get started on our class discussion today. So I'm going to be handing everyone out this worksheet. As we talk about the key concepts that we're going to be learning today, I'd like you to follow along with me and fill out this worksheet. You can also use this as a reference for the activities that you're learning in class later today. So please hang on to this and make sure you're filling it out and following along with me as we begin. So what are predators? Predators are wild animals that hunt or prey on other animals. They eat their prey to survive. So you might want to look back at that worksheet. I believe that is one of the questions on there. I'll give you a minute to fill that out. All right. Predators have profound effects throughout the ecosystems. They influence the structure of ecosystems by leaving nutrients and seeds from searching for food. By controlling the distribution, abundance, and diversity of their prey, they regulate lower species in the food chain, an effect known as trophic cascades, which we learned about yesterday. Okay, so here in the highlighted gray section, these are characteristics of predators, so we're going to be talking about that. So I have my board right up here, and we're going to be taking turns listing off characteristics of predators. If you don't know any, that's okay. You can just volunteer to say something if you know it, and if not, I'm going to come up with some characteristics as well. But I'd like to hear from you first. So does anyone have any ideas? All right, so these are the examples that I heard. Great hearing, special vision, yep, definitely. Sharp teeth, oh yeah. Super sense of smell, that's a good one. And carnivores. Remind me again what a carnivore is? Right, that's an animal that only eats meat. So I'm going to add one more to the board, and that's venom. So sometimes predators have venom. Can you guys think of a predator that might have venom? Right, a snake. That's a good job. All right, now back to the screen. I'm going to have some examples of predators up here on the screen. So here you see a great white shark. We see a killer whale, an orca. Does anyone know what this is? Yeah, it's a sea snake, which can be kind of scary. And does anyone know what this kind of fish is? Okay, that's just fine. So it is called an anglerfish. So if anyone's seen Finding Nemo, it's that fish right on the bottom hand corner, right by the jellyfish. It's that fish that chases after Nemo and Dory in that scene, and it's got the big light coming up. Yeah, it can be kind of scary. So looking at this picture of Finding Nemo, these sharks here, they're way bigger than the fish. They have these pointy teeth, which we talked about, the sharp teeth. And yeah, so these are the predators here in the middle. They got kind of scary looking people. And we got the anglerfish in the bottom. Yeah. All right, so we are going to keep on moving. So now I'm going to put you guys into groups. We are going to do predator group stations. So you will be split up in either the red group, yellow group, or the blue group. So the red group, you are going to be working on this station. So there is going to be a big predator sign and 10 photographs of organisms to choose from. You're going to place only the organisms that are predators in that category. Yellow group, you're going to be watching this video, which I'm going to set you up in the corner here, and you're going to be paying close attention to the information in the video. Blue group, you're going to have 10 plastic red cups that look kind of like this. You're going to have an organism on that red cup, and then you're going to stack them. So you're going to stack one cup on top of the other, like this. You're then going to put the organisms on top that are the predators. That's the top of the food chain. Each group is going to be also completing a worksheet. So these are the worksheets that we're going to be working on: red group, blue group, and yellow group. Questions 1 and 2 are unique to your individual group. Question number 3, which is why are predators at the top of the food chain, is a question that every group has, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. So I'm going to give you guys time to work in your groups and get that going. All right, so now that everyone is done with their groups, great job, everyone. Teamwork looked great. I'm really happy with the communication that you had in your groups. So now that everyone's done and all the worksheets are complete, I'm going to mix you up. So reds, yellows, and blues, you're going to all mix up. The point of this is to have each person, so each reds, yellows, and blues are going to talk amongst their new group formed and discuss the activity that you did in your group, questions 1 and 2 that you answered in your group. Okay? I'd like you to do that. All right, perfect. Now that everyone's done that, we are going to move on. You're all going to, okay, so you're going to stay in your groups. You all had the same question number 3, which is why are predators at the top of the food chain? So now that you all know that you have the same question number 3, you're going to be comparing and contrasting your answers, red, yellow, and blues. If you need to add anything to that answer, go right ahead. If you need to pull out anything that might not be correct, you go ahead and do that. I'd like everyone in the group to share. All right, everyone did so great. Thank you so much for participating. Next, we're going to be working on a shark buoyancy activity. This is my favorite activity to do. So I'm going to get everyone set up right over here. All right, so for your shark buoyancy activity, you're all going to be making these little sharks right here. I will move a little bit closer so everyone can see. Okay, so you have these little sharks. You're going to be making 2 of them. Each student's going to be making 2 of them. So these are what the little sharks look like. There's 3 pennies taped on the bottom of each shark. So they're all going to get a bucket of water just like this. We're going to see which one is going to float and which one is going to sink. This one has oil in it. This is meant to represent the shark's oily liver. So the purpose of their oily livers is to have them float. I'm not going to introduce this to students right away. I'm going to have them make predictions about what's going to happen. So they're going to have a separate piece of paper and make predictions about what's going to happen. So the shark's oily liver is meant for nutrients for the shark. So when these sharks eat other animals, they get toxins in their bodies. So their oily livers are meant to help filter out those toxins. So they're really important for the sharks. All right, so we're going to take our two sharks, one with oil, that's right over here, and one without oil, that's right over here. We're going to place them in the water. I'm going to back this up a little bit so you can see. All right, both are going in the water. Which one do you think is going to float and which one is going to sink? Oil, not oil. All right, here we go. All right, I will bring this up here so you can see it a little bit more. The one on top, that is the one with the oil. And the one that sank, that is the one with no oil and just the pennies. So at this point, students are going to be revising their predictions and turning in that sheet just for participation points. So back to the KWL chart. I would like you to fill out the last column of your KWL chart, the learned column. I want you to include 2 or more concepts that you learned in class today, 2 characteristics of predators as well. And as a reminder, the characteristics of predators sheet, let me just adjust this for you, is right up on our whiteboard. Okay, so just as a refresher, sharp teeth, super sense of smell, special vision, venom, great hearing, carnivores. These are all characteristics of predators. So now that we've had that little review, I'm going to take it down from the whiteboard because I'd like to see what you can remember as characteristics of predators. So I'd like you to fill out that last column and you are all set to go. So once you're done with that, please turn that in the box. Perfect! We're all done with our lesson today. Tomorrow, we will be focusing on prey and their connection to predators in the food chain. So have a great day, class. See you later.